Create Art Podcast. Project NaPoWriMo, otherwise known as National Poetry Writing Month. Hello friends, this is Timothy Chemo Bryan, your head instigator for Create Art Podcast, where I bring my 20 plus years of experience in the arts and education world to help you tame your inner critic and create more than you consume. So this month is National Poetry Writing Month. Happens every April. And National Poetry Writing Month is known as NaPoWriMo, and it's a creative writing project. And what they do is they give you prompts. If you go to the NaPoWriMo website at NaPoWriMo.net, and they'll give you 30 prompts for the 30 days in April. Now, on the website, you can also interact with other people. This year is going to be different from the previous years that I've done this project. This year, I'm going to be writing poetry throughout the year, and I am following a different prompt than the one that the National Poetry Writing Month folks do. Now, I've been doing poetry since 1988. I know for a lot of people here, they're like, whoa, the 1900s. But I've been doing it for a long time. I've been writing poetry for a long time and performing my poetry. So this year, like I said, I'm going to be writing all throughout the year. And the blog that I'm using is called Think Written. And the links for that will be in the show notes. I'm also going to be performing these works at Katura Coffee House here in Fredericksburg, Virginia on their Friday night Snaps open mic poetry reading. You'll have a link for that again in the show notes. And a lot of people, they ask me, hey, Tim, why do you do this to yourself every year? And my answer to that is, if I'm going to ask you to be, taming your inner critic and creating things, then I need to be doing it too, right alongside you. So that's why this year I'm doing it a little bit different, but I will be interacting with the poets there on the NaPoWriMo site. And we'll see how this goes. I'm pretty excited to be doing it this way. All right, today's prompt is called Fast Food. Write a poem about fast food restaurants and experiences. So this one I'm entitling After the Casino. Driving through the fog of West Virginia, taking the back roads because my car can't do 75. Before everyone and their brother had cell phone coverage, we both struggled to keep our eyes open. We should have probably grabbed some food on the way out of the casino. We both won a tidy sum that paid for the trip and the rent for the next 2 months. We did notice when we crossed back into Virginia, because at night, most states look the same. With the last cigarettes tossed out of the window, and a few hours until we arrived at home, we pulled over at a gas station and Waffle House, conjoined at the hip. The sun was still a few hours away. We entered the gas station and purchased our brand of addiction, relieved ourselves in the grimy bathroom, and found a seat in the empty restaurant. The sounds of the bells and whistles from the plethora of machines drowned out the waitress, and it took longer than it should have to take our orders. All three of us were tired, but only one of us was getting paid to be here, and it wasn't my passenger and I. My passenger started his order as I was downing the first cup of coffee. Then it was my turn to interact. Mindlessly, I ordered breakfast and some soup. The waitress appeared to me, muttered, "Crackers?" And thinking she was referring to us, two white boys in the middle of the night, driving a car in need of serious repair, smelling of smoke and speaking loudly, we both broke out in laughter. The waitress asked what was so funny, and I replied, "You called us crackers." No, crackers for your soup is what I asked. You boys look a little rough tonight. How far you got to go? We let her know and talked to her till the sun rose. We were well fed, energized from copious amounts of coffee, ready to take on the final leg of the journey. And to this day, when either of us hears the word crackers, we are transported to that night, somewhere between West Virginia and home. All right, so that was my poem for this day for National Poetry Writing Month. I hope you enjoyed it. You can go right to the website, createartpodcast.com, and you can go ahead and comment right there in the comment section if you like. Now, something I'd like to ask you is, if you enjoyed it, shoot me an email. Timothy@createartpodcast.com. I want to hear about your journey, and I want to hear about what you're working on. And if you'd like to be on the show, or would like to discuss a topic that's giving you trouble, well then go ahead and email me. Let's start that conversation. I also want to let you know about another podcast that I do, and that one is called Find a Podcast About, and that's where I help you find your next binge-worthy podcast and outsmart that algorithm. You can find that podcast at findapodcastabout.xyz. Last thing I'd like to say here is, if you found value in the show, let me know. Pass it on to a friend. If you have ideas on what I could do better to make this a 5-star podcast, I want to hear about those too. I want to be helping you with your art, to be bold with your art, as I do it right beside you. I'll see you next time.